Hi everyone, and welcome to another Balance Your Productivity live broadcast on Facebook, on my Facebook page here every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m, give or take when I'm not around or not here on holiday. Thank you for watching, and please feel free to share this or catch up with some of the previous sessions. It must be up to about 18, 19 now. There's lots of information in there if you're looking to improve your time management skills, increase your productivity, or just enjoy a better overall balance, because we can all get caught up in the day-to-day of life and work and everything else that's going on. So what I do in these sessions is just share useful information. I'm happy to answer questions if you're watching live, or feel free to add a comment or ask a question in the box below, and I will get back to you on that. If there is anything specific that you would like me to cover in any of these sessions, or any questions you have, then I can feed that into a previous session. So what I wanted to continue with in this session is around dealing with overwhelm. So in the last session, I looked at how you can actually manage that overwhelm, tips and ideas to deal with it. And what I wanted to look at in this session is how you can better manage your overwhelm, or when you're feeling overloaded, or some relatively easy and fairly simple things that you can do to reduce your stress. Hi Tish. Good to have you here. Glad we're back on the same time zone as well. So I'll keep an eye on what you guys are saying and what you're up to. So feel free to chip in and ask a question. There are three key things that you can do that are going to help reduce your overall feeling of overwhelm and ease your stress that results from that. When we're busy, feeling overwhelmed and overloaded, it can just all pile on top of us at times, and you need to be able to manage that and deal with it in a way that you don't completely feel overwhelmed and you're spinning around in circles. So the first one is around exercise, and I think that is so important just on a day-to-day basis to help us feel healthier and improve our overall well-being. But when you're feeling particularly stressed and overwhelmed, it is really good to be able to get out and get some exercise. And when I say get out, especially today, there's some lovely blue sky out there. We're getting into spring, it's getting warmer, the evenings are getting lighter. If, like me, you're in the Northern Hemisphere. So it's really good to be able to take some time out, just go for a walk, whether you do that in the morning before you start work, lunchtime if you get a chance to go out, and in the evening, afternoon when you get back from work. Just go out, get some fresh air, take a break, brisk walk, and you can start to get things back into perspective. It's also something that if you're sitting at your desk and you're feeling completely overloaded, it's a really good way of taking a break from that. Your head spinning, you're juggling too many things, to just take a break. And that's one of the other sort of key strategies, is around actually taking more breaks, which again can seem very counterintuitive, that you're just so busy and you're so overloaded and overwhelmed that you can't afford to take time to take a break, but that's probably when it's really important to do so. So along with exercise, find a regular exercise class to go to, something that you enjoy doing, fitness, whether it's with a group or something you're doing on your own. You get those endorphins going, and it gives you a way to switch off on some of the busyness that's going on in your head. When you're exercising and you're physically using your body in different ways, then it helps your brain to switch into a different mode of being, which also helps that stress and brings it down to a different level. Something else that is really going to help is being able to relax and do meditation. Meditation is becoming, more and more people are doing it, and it's becoming almost part of people's everyday lives. And it can be as simple as just taking a few minutes out to breathe. Just to, particularly if you're feeling really stressed out, to calm your mind, just close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Really inhale and exhale and do what they call breath counting. So you can count your breath as it goes in for a count of 4, hold it, and then breathe out for a count of 4. And just doing a few of those breaths really helps to calm your mind. Again, it gets the different hormones going, and it reconnects you to what's going on in your body. And that's something that can be really easy and important to do when you're feeling particularly stressed. And it's something I quite often share with clients. I've got a breathing meditation. So if you are interested in that, let me know and I can drop that through to you. It's really simple. There are also a lot of apps around. I've used Calm and Insight Timer and Headspace are 3 really good apps that have got a huge variety of simple meditations. They've also, some of them have got even exercise routines on you. And again, there are lots of apps out there that can give you simple exercise routines. So if you're sort of saying, well, I don't have time for exercise, don't know what exercises to do, there are really simple 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes that you can do at home with very minimal equipment. Yoga, yep, Tish, I was just going to come on to that. Yoga and Pilates are really, really good, both for flexibility, for stretching, for relaxation in particular. I've been doing Pilates now for many years, and also I do yoga on a regular basis. And I remember, especially when I first started doing yoga, I slept so much better when I'd done an evening yoga routine. Again, lots of applications out there. I'm using one called Yoga Studio Gayam, which has lots of easy, simple routines from beginners through to advanced. So you don't have to be standing on your head. You don't have to be sitting cross-legged. But they're also really good if you spend a lot of time, as I do, sitting at my desk, looking at a computer, to just stretch out, ease those muscles off and release some of that tension. So that was one of the reasons I got back into doing yoga on a daily basis, not just on a sort of regular weekly basis, because it helps me not feel quite so sort of tight and try and release some of that tension if you feel it. So exercise is a key stress reliever, and doing something regularly as well. The second important thing, which I sort of touched on briefly, is about taking a break, stepping away from your desk, especially when you get into that analysis paralysis situation. You're looking at something and you realize that you're not really achieving anything because nothing's going in or nothing's coming out, and you're just going round and round in circles and your head's spinning. That is a really good time to just get up, get away from your desk and go and do something different, whether it's a different activity or in particular going outside. As I'm lucky enough to work from home, if I find that I'm in those sorts of situations, I'll just think, right, I'm not being very productive or very effective with this. I'm just not getting anywhere, and I'll go outside and go for a walk. It's fresh air. I've got countryside close by, which is really nice. But if you've got a park or even going for a walk around the block, just doing something different. And if you take regular breaks, it will also boost your energy levels. So, and I think I've probably mentioned before in one of the previous sessions, we can only really concentrate for anywhere between sort of 10, 20 minutes. Our brain has a sort of limited attention span. So after that time, unless you're really focused and in the flow, you're going to be losing concentration and your productivity is going to be dropping. So taking a break is going to help build that up again. Unplug for a while. We have so much that we're connected to, tapped into digitally, electronically. It's good just to be able to unplug, particularly in the evenings or at the weekends. You don't have to constantly be online and being connected and responding, or being drawn to checking your email or seeing what else is going on. Take the weekends off as well, and take time to go away and do something different. So get a change of scenery. that is a really good way to take a break, re-energize. If you go and do something completely different for a weekend or just for a couple of days, it can sometimes feel like you've had a much longer break. You're doing something different, you're in a different space, and you feel much more recharged and energized and ready to get going again. So the more you disconnect and switch off, the better you feel when you get back. Another way to relieve stress is get a hobby. Whether it's whatever it is that you enjoy doing, something that is going to sort of take your mind away from the day-to-day and all the busyness and the stress that's going on. Simple things like maybe for women, but not just. There are some men I know that knit. So doing knitting or crochet or even colouring. Colouring has become a big thing these days, and there's something very meditative about colouring in. You sort of switch your mind off. You're focused on what you're doing. Also, just having the colours and doing something creative, which we don't often get the opportunity to do, can really help. Knitting and things like crochet, needlework, doing things with your hands, woodwork, even painting can be, you're focusing and you're concentrating on what you're doing. So therefore you're not so stressed out and you can switch off around the other things. So Tish, was that a yes, you love doing knitting, crocheting or colouring or all of the above? I love knitting. I've sort of, again, something I've done, I haven't done it for a while, but it's one of those things you can get so totally absorbed in it. And for the guys out there, doing things like woodwork or making something can be very, very absorbing. It's exercising a different part of your brain when you're doing that. And all of that can help you get a sense of perspective on what's really going on. So you can come back to your completely overwhelmed, overloaded world and get that sense of perspective, get some fresh ideas, come up with different solutions. Because when your brain is working on something else, your subconscious is often coming up with solution to the problem. So we've all had those eureka moments in the shower, and showers are great ways because your brain is not switched on to something else, and you'll have all those little things that pop up in your mind when you're doing something else. And that's why actually going out for a walk can be a very useful way of doing that, because that physical activity of walking is constant. Your mind is focused on that and everything else that's going on around you, and your subconscious can then come up with solutions to the problems that you're facing. And we don't give ourselves enough time to switch off, to relax, to allow the mind to come up with those. And so if you've ever experienced those situations where when you're thinking of something completely different or you're involved in doing something different, you'll suddenly come up with a solution or a thought or an idea to either a problem or a way to move forward or a new way of working. So that's why it's really important to switch off your mind every now and then, whether it's through exercise, just taking regular breaks, or doing something like a hobby, which is going to totally absorb you. So I hope those have proved useful, and also some of the tips from last week's session around how you actually manage the amount of overload that you've got. And if you need any help and you're feeling particularly overloaded, then do get in touch, drop me an email. I'm always happy to respond to people's problems or book up time to have a chat. Check out the time quiz on my website if you haven't done it already. That's a really good starting point to help highlight the areas that you might like to focus on. And in the next session, I thought I would look at sharing a few tips on turning up on time. I know that can be a challenge for a lot of people, how you turn up on time for meetings and events or whatever it might be. So if you're the sort of person that is always running late or getting there just in time, you can come and join me next week. Until then, stay productive and stay balanced, and speak to you later. Bye.